Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she speaks.
Okay. Stream on that. Beautiful. It's come
So we live yet?
Yeah,
Or is it?
It looks like, yeah. We'll just test the old audio. This might be the quickest start we have in podcast history. Yeah, see, I can hear the audio on here already. There you go. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Oh, I should probably post the thing in the chat as well. That might help. It's weird. It doesn't come up and tell me anymore who's actually watching. Cause,
Oh, really?
yeah.
It's normally Phil watches, isn't it? Phil and...
Yeah.
Who else?
Well, Chris was watching it last week.
Oh, he was watching it on the beach, wasn't he, or something?
Why are the comments not coming up? What's going on?
Makes it look really bad when I don't do it.
I don't mind. If you watch it on record, that's
Oh, yeah, I
what
still watch it,
I'm
yeah.
fussed about.
Still a little depressing at the moment with my team, but
yeah, well, yeah.
It's always fun to watch when you're winning.
It's the depressing cough.
Right,
Here we go.
what have we done, Nate? We've done it all over again.
Obviously didn't cut enough chickens' heads off. Right.
I did too.
Only a few idea effect. Not really up.
Nigel couldn't make it. I'm right up Mendon always said he could make it.
Don't think this whole Phil Predator guy always manages to do well. Yeah. But he is a shocking person. You guys got a trophy? No. It was free bit.
I like from Rashad Mendon.
Thanks, Eddie.
And we are off to a rousing start to the LOC report. If you are watching this on video or watching or even watching live, you will have just witnessed the podcast dog. Hold on, if I just bring it up on the screen here, podcast dog knock off our camera. Here we go. We're just resetting that now. Yeah.
Hopefully I don't knock it.
That's good enough. No, we're fine. And we are okay. Hopefully you can still hear us as well. We will just check the... Yeah, we can hear. Okay, so hello and welcome to the LOC report. Not the usual start we would have, but...
Spectacular.
Yeah, it's spectacular indeed. And yeah, I'm joined by Coach Alan with his first appearance on the podcast, perhaps for a while. I can't remember the last time.
2 years.
Okay.
I think I was on one of the last ones you did, sort of just pre-recorded.
Okay, yeah,
So,
there you
couple
go.
years
So
ago,
one of the
yeah.
old hat podcasts. But hey, it's good to have you. How are you doing?
I'm alright.
Good.
Not doing very well.
Yeah, join the club. But as we'll see when we recap, the league is still close. And, we've seen teams turn it around many a time before from poor positions, and teams in good positions obviously completely crap the bed, which we'll definitely see a bit of today. But before we get all of that, we, of course, start off with our regular, which, while I stall to find the jingle, is the league news. And so the NFL games in London are here. We start this week with the Bears against the Raiders. And
Is Tampa next week?
yeah, so you will be going to the next one, Pat.
Yes.
We have the Panthers v Bucks next week. Then at the end of October, something like the 27th, I think, we have I've forgotten the game already. Bengals against someone.
I'm sure it won't be very memorable anyway.
Probably
so.
not. And the final game, Texans against Jags, which we do still have that one ticket remaining, if anyone would like it. Of course, if you're watching live, I don't know if that one viewer is me or not.
That
please.
delay is throwing me right off just watching me.
It's not that much of a delay. But
no.
just, Pat,
I pointed
we're
out then.
focused on this screen.
Oh,
Don't watch yourself.
I can't
Have
help
you
myself.
podcast
I'm
before?
so beautiful.
So we've got one ticket left for that game. Let me know if you would like it. Yeah, comment along if you're watching live. Other league news we have. You're right there, Pat.
Yeah. I just keep on seeing myself out the corner of my eye and I can't. I'm not very professional at this. I'll get better.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You're always into it. Key transactions, our new feature of the news. First of all, we have Ronald Jones for Darwin Thompson. $23 by the Dream Team. He was the big ticket item of this week, which is funny because I added him a few weeks ago for about $2, and then he was out there as a free agent. This is his second good week in a row, I think. We can, in fact,
I think he's
go
had
down
3 decent weeks.
He's had 3 decent weeks. Second good week. He had the good week one.
But the one week he didn't have a good week was due to injury. I think he went out for a toe injury, didn't he?
No, it was against the Panthers on Thursday night.
I'm pretty sure
there was no injuries. Peyton Barber played well that game.
Oh, maybe.
And maybe Peyton Barber, of course, is still the lead back. But you can see the 12 and 14 points the last 2 weeks. So he's played pretty well. Pat, what do you make of the ad by the Dream Team?
I think it's really good. I put in a $20 bid. Obviously didn't get him, but I think it's good. I think he's going to get the volume from now on. I don't think Peyton Barber really could cut it.
I mean, he's got the draft stock former, was it first round pick, second round pick?
It was second round pick, right? But it was like second. Second
high,
round.
high draft pick.
But you missed out players like Darius Geis went past him.
Course,
even though he's been injured, but he was a lot sort of more sought after. It was a bit of a rogue move by Tampa. Indeed. I think a lot of people were a bit like,
but it's seemingly paying dividends.
Well, if you give anyone volume, they're bound to get yards on the ground.
Peyton Barber is a good example of that, being just a guy. We have our first comment, actually. Hello, random viewer. TS says, Winston or Brissett? I am sitting Rodgers this week. Rodgers is playing Dallas. Jameis Winston is playing... Who are Tampa playing?
They are playing...
Oh, this is... We were just looking at it.
Oh,
here we go. God. We'll bring it back up here. Tampa are playing the Saints in the Superdome, and Jacoby Brissett, the Colts playing the Chiefs. I'd be inclined to roll with Brissett.
I would go Brissett. I think that, anyone playing Kansas City has to keep up.
Yep.
And as you see with Matthew Stafford, he was sort of getting around 15 to 20 points a week. Shot up to about, 28, 29 last week. You're probably going to get the same effect. Brissett also got 28 points last week in standard format.
I think he's leading the NFL in touchdowns right now. Brissett, he's been solid
option. On my team.
And he did that without T.Y. Hilton last week as well, let's not forget. TS says here, New Orleans giving up 29 points per game. Perhaps, but you only need to look at Dak Prescott's game last week in the Superdome to see that defense is still pretty good.
And you also look at Jameis Winston's career. Like, he has his big boom games. You always think, this is the week he's broken out. He's we're going to revolutionise the game, and then just completely craps your team, as I've done many a time with Jameis Winston.
Here's a question for you, though. So I think we're both definitely saying, TS, you should go Brissett over Winston, but would you bench Rodgers for Brissett?
Problem is, you put a second or third round pick into Aaron Rodgers. You want to roll with him, but at the moment, Green Bay aren't really moving the ball very well.
Didn't play terribly good against, and he's going to be without Devontae Adams. Dallas is a pretty good defense.
I would go Brissett.
Yeah, I think I'd go Brissett too. So,
but it's hard putting your second or third round pick on the bench, but you're going to have to do it.
Yeah. TS says, I think it was more of Dallas play calling which hurt Dak. The coaching staff didn't believe in him, and Adams is out. But I still think it's a nod to the Saints D. I would roll with Brissett. I think we're both aligned there. So there you go. Yes, that's our 2 cents. Chris is another member of our league who's commenting, I'd be tempted to roll with Winston, having just trolled LA in the Coliseum.
And then Winston will then troll you next week when he puts up about 10 points. Exactly. But he could, you never know, this might be a new Winston. Yeah. Because they say Bruce Arians is the QB whisperer. Yeah, maybe he's finally got through to him.
I'd want another week of seeing it.
I'd be very,
So, there you go, TS. And our other key transaction news here, so it's you, Pakistan, and it is not one single one. I thought it was only prudent to group it.
Yeah.
You added Michael Gallup, Geronimo Allison, and Jordan Howard for Josh Allen, Paul Richardson, and Chris Thompson.
Yeah.
And Gallup was 18. Allison was 17, Howard was 16. It combined $51. Big spending week for you.
Yeah.
And of course, we just had the additional waivers as we do in our league. So really, it was only a $31 spend if you account the 20 you just got.
It was a bit of tilt after the Devontae Adams.
I meant to mention that.
Yeah.
Trading 3 players for 1,
and then he gets
Adams
injured.
Getting injured,
but it's meant to be sort of. He's not playing this week, but it's meant to be not that serious, so maybe a couple of weeks out. You never know, because
it's a tough one. It's tough.
But if you look at my bench, which we'll do later, you'll see that everyone on my bench is injured. Or but
a classic gridiron game.
The problem is, I'm in a situation. I'm playing Viv this week, and I have to win a game.
Yeah,
and I just had to just splash the cash out.
Yeah.
So if I lose this game, I imagine myself playing like Phil in the future because I got him again. I'd probably lose that. I need to get wins somewhere. And I went for it. Looking at Viv's team, I'll probably still lose, but that's it was a mixture of desperation and tilt.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like I said, I don't have any problem with the ads there, and whether it was tilt or not, you had the money to spend. So I am sure I'm not alone, and I was also going for Gallup and Howard. Yeah. Granted, nowhere near as much.
Gallup may not play this week, but I reckon next week he'll be. Yeah, he's got 2 good games. I think he's got. Yeah. I can't remember. So is it? I think one to Miami. Next week. Is it Jets in Miami or is it Jets?
No, Dallas have already played Miami.
Okay. But there's 2 good
matchups. So that's the key transactions, and then we have the trade block, which has not changed, or kind of changed, but not really. Trade block. Bedene is still shopping Aaron Rodgers, as far as I know.
As you would.
He has not told me he's removed him from the block. And for me, Juju Smith-Schuster, Devontae Freeman, Philip Lindsay, and Devin Singletary are still on the trade block as well. So that is your news. So we will go straight into the weekly recaps, and of course we will start with the marquee matchup from last week, which was the podcast bowl, even though the podcast host is not here, but still watching live from another country, which we appreciate.
That's a commitment.
It was indeed. It was Gridiron Gang against Forge Flyers. Gridiron Gang took on Forge Flyers in the podcast bowl. It's a divisional game as well, the marquee matchup from last week. But like quite a few games last week, it did not end up as quite a marquee game, as Forge Flyers took it 94-60. Looking down the lineup, that's not the lineup, that's the recap. But on Forge Flyers' side of the ball, Christy McCaffrey had a number 1 round pick worthy day of 24 points, and Mike Evans had a really long play, but it got him 15 points. Will Disley was a great stream, who got 12, and Will Lutz and the special teams defense charges combining for 27. On the other side of the ball, Jared Goff got 25 points. The only other player to go over 10 points for Gridiron Gang was Greg Zylon with 12, and a bit of a stinker.
Yeah. The first thing I'm noticing from this game is obviously Brandon Cooks only scoring 7 points, and I've noticed something with the Rams offense. It's not the Rams offense of last year. They're not putting up the points as they were. The problem is it's like a roulette wheel between Cup, Woods and Cooks, and it landed on Robert Woods this week.
That's always been the case with the Rams, and I've actually been listening to some stuff this week that's been saying that since the Super Bowl, and really since the Bears played them last week, if you recall, the Rams were a powerhouse until about week 14 or something when they played the Bears, and then they just weren't the same after. It's because obviously Sean McVay was quite a new coach, unique offensive system, but a team figured it out, and now everyone's copying the blueprint. Yeah. That's what happens in the NFL.
Yeah, and you're looking at it, your first and second round pick being, was it Hopkins and Juju, only putting up probably about 4 points between the two of them. It's
a tough situation.
Well, it's really unfortunate for Juju with the Ben Roethlisberger, but
it's just unavoidable. And Hopkins, you're right, it's been weird. He had the blow-up game in week 1, but then, admittedly, he's had 3 really good cornerbacks. That's not been an issue previously, but it can happen. So
is he banged up at the moment?
So he was having a rib injury at some point. It says limited there. So, but it's, as far as I know, it's nothing serious. It's just been something.
But looking forward for you with Valdez-Scantling, it's going to be good with Devontae Adams being out. You can probably rely more on him to get points on the board. On the other side of the board, it's a strong performance really from Chris.
It should have been more as well.
It should be more. The unfortunate thing was Dak. I think that's just a 1 week. Unfortunate. I think next week they'll be back to it.
Yeah, certainly. Part of it is, Cowboys have had a good start of the season. They were obviously 3-0 entering this one. But they hadn't played a good team yet, I think it's fair to say.
And they've got Green Bay next week, who are a very strong defense, especially against the pass.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, though. Dak will have better days, but I think the days he was having probably can't bank on that every single week.
But the depth that Chris has got, he's, especially if like Winston keeps on playing well, throwing to Mike Evans, Christian McCaffrey's sort of the focal point of their offense at the moment. He's going to do well. Yeah.
Marlon Max, he's a bit banged up.
And I love the Will Disley pick.
Yeah, I love that. I mentioned that in the recap. Yeah, great stream. I would have done it had I had a roster spot spare, because any tight end playing Arizona, is just going to score a touchdown. One peek behind the veil, just looking at the bench quickly. Not really much to speak of there. Chris had Darrell Williams, but we can't fault him for not playing him. Peek behind the veil. I had the Colts D here, who 4 points, one of the worst defenses of last week. I posted into the chat. Yeah, Oakland travelling as well. A lot of the fantasy analysts last week like the Colts as a streamer. I personally didn't see it, but I missed out on waivers on all of the other Ds, so I didn't have much choice. When I heard that Terry McLaurin was not playing for the Redskins, I was planning on swapping in the Giants. However, unfortunately, I was out and about and had dinner for my girlfriend's birthday. So had I been at home, I probably would have done it, but because I was out, I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have made the difference, which I'm quite pleased about.
No,
but it would have made it a bit more respectable. But there we go. Chris takes this one then, moving to 3-1. Gridiron Gang falls to 1-3. The history of this matchup, Gridiron Gang is now slightly worse off, but Fortifiers bring it to 7-10.
Yes.
And our next game then is bucking the trend against Pakistan. In a battle of two of the newest teams in the LOC, Pakistan took on Bucking the Trend. Entering this week, Pakistan was still searching for their first win, while Bucking the Trend was coming off their second ever career win. But they would instead experience their second career loss, as they lost in this pretty much dull of a game, I think it's fair to say. 69-46. Looking down the lineups, Jacoby Brissett led the way for Pakistan with 29 points. Devontae Adams had a great day, despite finishing the game with an injury, 18 points, and then Harrison Butker got 10. On the other side of the ball, not much to speak of there. Daniel Jones, the prized waiver pickup, only got 14. Saints D got 14. Outside of that, really not a lot to speak of. And before you dive into this game specifically, Pat, I would just like to say it was a very weird week in the LOC and the NFL last week.
Yes.
I didn't think any team was going to get to 100 points at one point.
Yeah, well, looking at the board, looking at my team just to start with Hardman and Kansas City in general, Kansas City were terrible apart from Kelsey. Well,
Mahomes didn't pass for a touchdown. How long does that? How often does that happen?
Yeah, well, how many points did he get in the end? We'll see in a minute.
We'll see in a bit. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a weird week. Paul Richards, switching to Dwayne Haskins probably didn't help my team much, but it was the case Keenum sort of injury.
All fed into.
And the Jags D against Denver apparently.
Yeah.
Jags D. Well, they weren't playing Jalen Ramsey this week. Probably more my fault for leaving him in.
But again, Denver have been a pretty respectable, generator of fantasy D points. So
yeah. On the other side of the board, it's just the thing I sort of speaks to me is Adam Thielen with 6 yards? Is that?
Yep.
Yeah, Adam Thielen 6 yards. What is going on with Adam Thielen?
It's just the Vikes passing. I think it's more what's going on with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and it's thinking that was it. Adam Thielen for the first part of last year was leading in receiving
yards. Didn't he have
yards?
the ridiculous 8-9 game stretch where he went over 100 yards in every game? Couldn't be further from the opposite. I think the issue is, so they've obviously become a very run-heavy team. Kirk Cousins has never been a good quarterback when he's been under pressure. The Vikings O-line, from pass blocking standpoint, has not been as good. That's a deadly combination.
Yeah, so
is what it is.
Which Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison was sort of taking.
Exactly. Poor Mike at one point as well thought he was going to set a record for lowest points in a week.
I think it's me, isn't it, who's got the lowest points? I got like 20-something points for 1 week.
But to be fair to Mike, when he said that, you know what, it didn't look unlikely that it could happen. He avoided it and ended up with a respectable week.
I saw how badly my team was doing. I go, oh no, I'm about to go 0-4. And then I looked at my team and went, no, I'm all right.
yeah, Mike was the dream matchup. And as Chris says, all the way from Las Vegas, the Gypsy Bowl. This game may have a new name from now.
Like last week, there's so many games I could have won if I'd been in them. This week I got lucky the other way around, being there's not many games I would have won, I grabbed it.
But I think the most telling thing for me is, on both sides of the ball, obviously you just had that 3-player trade. Despite having Adams, it did show a bit this week. There's still the lack of firepower despite Adams coming in.
Yeah.
But going forward, I think he'll certainly be better. And on the other side for Mike as well, DK Metcalf was on my roster until Friday, I think Thursday, and he started for bucking the trend. That just goes to show the dire straits that some of the teams in the OC are in as well. But that's how it falls. Pakistan now with your first win go to 1-3, while Mike falls to 2-2. The next game we have is another 0-3 team, Dream Team, taking on the Tugfards. Play. Thank you. The 0-3 Dream Team took on the 3-0 Turkvards in the O-Bowl, as we so called it last week. And the victor was not as you would expected. In a complete shock upset, the Dream Team took this game 91-77. Looking down the lineups, Carson Wentz had a great day, as he usually does for the Dream Team. 26 points. Kerryon Johnson chipping in 14. It's been pretty consistent so far. Elliott with 11 and the Browns D with 11. Excuse me. On the other side of the ball, the Turkvards, Mahomes has been leading this team. He had an okay day, but did not pass for a touchdown en route to 18 points. Outside of that, the kicker got 12, and the defense, Patriots, who were on course to beat Todd Gurley's score from his historic career last year with 26, still was not enough as they lost this game.
I'm very surprised with how the Turkvards turned out this week. It's just from such a high-powered offense.
Yeah.
Well, high-powered team going on to... And bear in mind, you got 76 points, which isn't terrible, especially with the new format.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay.
But 26 of those points come from the defense.
Yeah, that masks a lot.
But like I said with Mahomes, I think that was a one-off weird game against Detroit. I think that was just...
You know what's funny about that game? So everyone was saying, or not everyone, but some fantasy guys said that the last time Mahomes played was in college against, was it with or against Texas Tech? In a dome, and he did something like 500 yards for 6 touchdowns. No one was seriously thinking he would do that, but people were expecting, playing inside a dome, his numbers to be better, and you're right, that good Detroit defense slowed him down.
Yeah, and you can see with the, with Greg Olsen having a great game last week was against Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona very bad against tight ends, but this week didn't turn out as well as Phil probably was expecting it. Unfortunate for Phil, I imagine he'd bounce back, but the Dream Team
This is what me and Mike said last week. You know, Barkley went down. That's a huge loss for any team.
Yeah.
Turkvards has nice pieces in Mahomes, of course. Keenan Allen had that blow-up week, but again, he's not typically a blow-up receiver. And Ingram has been good, but as we saw, the Ravens, since playing Kansas, that they're not necessarily a juggernaut.
But Cleveland are very good against run at the moment,
that's true.
So you could argue that. And 71 yards isn't terrible.
No. But it's not all roses for the Turkvards, though. Certainly not.
Yeah, but I reckon a few waiver wire transactions, and I think they'll be fine. Like, they're going to lose John Ross. Yeah, well, they've already dropped him, haven't they?
Yeah, that's probably a blessing, because I've been harping for weeks that I am so pissed off that Phil has the gumption to play him, and it went that way. Yeah, so you've got Jarvis Landry there, who, to his credit, hasn't been great so far, but he had a good game. But not much else there.
On Viv's side of the ball, should we have a look at that? Carson Wentz having a fairly decent game against Green Bay, which people weren't expecting, especially with how good the Green Bay defense has been. Yeah. Joe Mixon, a little disappointing this week, because last week he was in the double digits.
Yeah.
Now he's back down to single. Kerryon Johnson is starting to emerge. Since they've dropped, was it CJ Anderson? You can see his uptake in touches, but you could also argue they're against Kansas City, so they'll be...
Soft run defense.
I think it looks solid from Viv, which is really disappointing because I'm playing him this week. I was thinking, at least he's looking a lot stronger than me at the moment.
I mean, I wouldn't worry. Yes, he looked a bit better. There are still some worries for the Dream Team.
The only thing I'll be worried about for the Dream Team is Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
It's the Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen problem of a bit like with Rams. It's a roulette. It's sort of who's it going to be this week? Who's going to be the number one receiver?
So Viv wins his first game, moving to 1-3, and Phil loses his first, going to 3-1. The Dream Team are now 5-7 all time against the Turkvards. Our next game then is the Detonators against Tom's Tyrants. The Southampton Division teams face off in week 4 of the LOC season, and they were both at 1-2 entering this game. Tom's Tyrants would come away with a win to go 2-2 in a fairly close one, 97-85. Looking down the lineups, James Conner rolled for 18 points for Tom's Tyrants, and Chris Carson went for 14. Austin Eckler had a great day against Miami with 24, and the Steelers D had a terrific day with 26 points. But the highlight, or low light I should say, was Case Keenum actually finishing on negative points from Tom's Tyrants. On the other side of the ball, the Detonators, Lamar Jackson was back to his good ways, which usually means good things for the Detonators. He got 30 points. But apart from David Johnson with 14 and Seahawks with 17, there was not a lot to speak of, as they would lose this game.
Yeah, so the strong start Ollie had this year doesn't seem to be continuing, as with, like you say, only 2 players sort of really contributing to the team, not including the defence.
Yeah. It's been the same story every week for Benedetto. If Lamar Jackson goes off, they're going to do well. He had a pretty good game today, really good game, but same story, just wasn't enough there to bring him home, especially against a team that finished with negative points for their quarterback.
But it shows how strong Tom Torrance are being lately, because, wow, if you just take the quarterback out and you're still almost scoring 100 points.
Look, you could probably trade off the defense in a fluky-ish week
see that, actually.
With the 26, but no doubt Tom's still been a fairly solid team.
The only sort of weakness I see in that team is DeMarcus Robinson, but as we've sort of established, it was a weird week for Kansas City, and I imagine him jumping back to probably 10 plus points a game. So
until
you would hope until he'll.
We'll
hope. Oh, if he ever comes back.
If he comes back.
Yeah,
not much more we can really say about this game. Just solid day from Tom, despite the poor QB score, and then Ollie is what Ollie is.
Good pickup was Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Ollie, did he play? No, I can't. He's been starting Will Fuller every game. I swear. I'm glad he benched him because he's just not been playing well. Aaron Jones has had a pretty good start to the season. Look, it's not going to make a difference. I don't think you can criticise him too much. He would have only done it for Marquise Brown or Sammy Watkins. But, on the other side, Tom had a lot of good players on the bench. Leonard Fournette, he benched, mildly surprising. Chris Godwin, I can't necessarily blame him for.
No.
I don't know. What I don't understand from Tom, this was a point I meant to pick up on, is he has had Kyler Murray on his bench since the draft. He has streamed a quarterback each week since the draft.
But he hasn't.
I'm pretty
sure. He's
waiting
for Kyler Murray to break out. He's waiting for him to
I don't think he needs to, because we saw...
But that's what I think he's doing.
We saw him week 3 against me. He played Garoppolo. He didn't do great. Murray got 22. He's had good scores. Okay, they're not lighting the world on fire. Keenan was a big risk this week. He was always at risk of being hooked this week.
I thought it was quite a good pickup by Tom before the injury happened. I thought, if there's any week you're going to play Keenan, it would be this week. But because I was looking at him as well when I was looking at Brissett.
Yeah.
But I think he just got unlucky. It was an injury.
I think he needs to turn the hat. No, my point is he needs to just roll with Murray. You've got a guy on the bench there who's putting up decent scores instead of these scrub waiver guys.
I think it's one of those weeks. It's just one of those things that he just doesn't.
If he doesn't do it this week, they're playing Cincinnati. If he doesn't do it this week, cut him. What's the point?
Yeah.
But Nader's fall to 6-10 all time against Tom's Tyrants. Ixan against the Stone Rosas is our next game.
100.
In week 4, Ixan took on the Stone Rosas, and Ixan were the only team to go above 100 points in week 4, and only just doing it at that with 103 to 74. Ixan moved to 3-1. Stone Rosas fall to 2-2. Looking down the lineups, Ixan, solid day from Phillip Rivers to 24. Todd Gurley's back with 19. Dalvin Cook doing Dalvin Cook things with 13. Derrick Henry chipped in 11, while the Bears T had a great day at 21. On the other side, Stone Rosas, Russell Wilson only got 16. Cooper Kupp had a good day with 18, and LaShawn McCoy got 15, but not really a lot else there.
Let's start with Ben. Looks good.
Another solid day.
Had
a bit of a dud against Phil last week, but...
And inflated a bit by the defensive points. Whenever your defense is scoring over 20 points... Like, if you replace it with just one of our defences, then...
It's the Bears, though, against the pretty stagnant Vikings offense. So as far as defense scores go, that one's probably the more respectable.
Yeah, it's probably... And he did pick him early, so... Look, down on the board with Phillip Rivers doing Phillip Rivers things, sort of putting on a decent score. Todd Gurley had a good week. He's been a bit up and down. He's not really getting the volume that he got last year.
It's telling. So yeah, you're right. He's not racking up the yardage. He's kind of become a running back that, as long as he gets a touchdown, he's going to have a good enough week for you. And he got 2 this week.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook just having a down week for Dalvin Cook, which isn't bad at all. I would love that. Marvin Jones, Tyler Boyd. Well, I think Cincinnati just looked bad this year. Yeah. Sort of most of their points that you get from players like John Ross is just sort of garbage time. TDs. Derrick Henry putting up an okay week against Atlanta. You would have hoped to get a bit more. yes, but it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But apart from that, pretty solid from Ben. On the other side of the ball with Ross.
Ollie.
Ollie, Ross, Ollie. Everyone's changing their names. I can never.
I know, it's so hard to keep up with.
Yeah, I didn't recognise it. I just thought it was Ross. Russell Wilson. Why couldn't he do that last week?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, not.
Okay, you would have expected better against Arizona. Only 16 points.
The thing is, did he need to? That's the thing is.
I think I may have had it said on the pod last week, but yeah, that game script just had Seattle running about 1,000 times all over it.
Yeah,
because they didn't need to throw.
But how can you bench Russell Wilson after 45?
Oh no! I'm not criticising it.
Yeah.
You know what? If he gets another touchdown, it's a decent day. It didn't happen.
Julio's a bit like DeAndre Hopkins at the moment, just not putting up.
He's had a pretty good start. Actually, I think this was his first. We'll take a look. This was his first kind of dud of a game. 5 points. Yeah.
Fair enough. I take that back. I thought. Yeah, I didn't realise he was doing that well. Oh, okay, fair enough. Cooper Kupp, yeah, brilliant. Well, he's been solid. The
biggest story with Summer Roses has been Odell Beckham.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, he's it's just that Cleveland offense. It's putrid, really. It's not lived up to hype.
They hung 40 points on the Ravens. Granted, Chubb got 3 touchdowns, but other than that game against the Jets,
but from the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Well, apart from Landry having a good week,
that was random. It was just
Chubb's been amazing though for Cleveland, but yeah, it's just what do you do? What do you do with Odell Beckham? That is the big question. Would you bench him or would you?
Yeah, I don't know. So Ollie did just pick up Wayne Gallman, but you're not going to be playing the Redskins every week. I think they missed the boat to take advantage of that.
Who would you have played instead?
I would have played Gallman last week.
Yeah, over who on Ollie's team? Maybe over Ingram.
Yeah. Maybe over Ingram.
Yeah.
I think you can't. But Beckham's one of the. It's like Hopkins, like you say. You can't bench the guy.
No.
Bench was pretty good there from Ollie, but he's got options.
But it's not looking bad for Ollie. It's just everyone had a down week this week.
Yeah. Ixan moved to, or is Ixan down here? 2-2 all time against the Stone Rosas, and then our last game of week 4, Bare Necessities take on Space Jamal. Bare Necessities took on Space Jamal in the final of the divisional games in week 4. Bare Necessities came into this one with a 2-game winning streak, and they extended that to 3. Meanwhile, Space Jamal has lost his second in a row after starting the season 2-0. The score was 87-77. Looking down the lineups, Deshaun Watson had a bit of a dud of a day with 12, but Nick Chubb bailed him out big time with 36 points. The Rams D was the only other double-digit scorer over 10. Space Jamal, Ryan got 16. Better days probably ahead for him. Not a lot of huge scores here. Josh Jacobs got 11. Robert Woods got 16. And Emmanuel Sanders got 10. It was a weird week, like I said.
Has Deshaun Watson been playing well at all this season?
No.
No.
No is the answer. I think he's had a few good scores.
He had the first good week 1 and week 3. Yeah.
But that whole Texans offense just is weird at the moment.
Yeah, it's
weird.
Let's not get into it. Let's move on. Let's just leave it at that. Adam Robinson. Yeah, okay.
Against the Vikings.
The Vikings is not too bad.
I don't understand my dad sometimes, because we all know my dad is very knowledgeable, but he just seems to make odd plays. Okay, 7.7 is not bad.
Buffalo have been good with Edelman.
Yeah, he's not got a lot on the bench either, to be fair, but I guess it was more out of necessity.
But still got the win. It's just there's little bits like you'd probably expect maybe a little bit more from Travis Kelce, maybe a touchdown you'd be hoping for sort of around 10 points.
Yeah, that's
not
what
much
Kelce
is.
He's just consistent.
Tyler Lockett, I think there are better days to
certainly
come.
Like we said earlier with Wilson, same thing applies to him. On paper, a great matchup, but they just profile to
run the ball all day. And apart from that, that's basically sums up Bare Necessities. It's a fairly decent week. It's a solid team. Some weird results.
In this one particular week, someone did pop up, but they're more of a consistent team than.
Yeah. And on the other side of the ball, it's just
New faces.
Yeah, well,
although only one.
Robert Woods did very well. It's a shame he didn't do it for me. But I knew it was bound to have a decent week sooner or later.
He was due
a good week.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs is solid, sort of around 10 points every week.
Yeah.
Murray Cooper, that was unfortunate against New Orleans. It's not. It's getting to that point.
It's just there you go. So, bare necessities now.
I'm running out of things to say now.
I know. Well, that's why the previews are easier. It's fine. Bare necessities now 5-2 against Ross's team all time. So we will now go to the week recap. Oh, that was the recap. We don't want to do it again. No power rankings though as yet. So check them out when Tom posts them. So we'll do the milestone stats and standings. We'll start off with the milestones. Let's see if we have any nice round numbers to speak of. First, let's look in the regular season statistics. Chris didn't win last week, did he? Or did he? I've forgotten already. We've just done it. He did! I certainly sure, Chris. You notched your 70th regular season win. Congratulations. Meanwhile, Ross notched his 50th regular season loss.
Aww.
I need the jingles. I'm just gonna screen. I'm gonna snip. Sorry, your reactions there, Pat, and use them as jingles for this going forward.
Highest quality production on the LOC report.
I notched my 80th career loss.
Oh.
Go me. And Viv didn't do anything of the sort. And that's the milestones. Let's look at the standings as we enter week 5. Tuckfods loses their first game, though they still are first place in the Southampton division.
Yeah.
Bucking the trend, couldn't capitalise. But Dream Team and Pakistan got on the board with their first win. Portsmouth division, Iksan, I think they were already first, but they move up a spot in seedings. They are still first in the division. Meanwhile, Tom's Tyrants tie the Stone Roses on 2-2, and Bedenators rounding out the bottom there at 1-3. Winchester division, no change there either. Forge Flyers, no change. I think Forge Flyers was still top. Bare Necessities, they are 3-1 and now second. Space Jamal 2-2 with Gridiron Gang bringing up the bottom there. We'll look at the breakdown real quick. Phil, of course, was a perfect 11-0 every week up until week 4. Still first despite a 5-6 week. Iksan got the 11-0 last week with their only team being over 100 points. Forge Flyers in third place there, as you can see, 31-13 to start the season. Nothing else really interesting of note. We're looking for higher up teams in the bottom. There we go, bucking the trend. 11-33, they're second in their division. And we're not doing too great so far.
It's last year over again.
Yeah, tell me about it. Looking at the coach score, my dad's still top. Only 5 points on the bench through 4 weeks, but there is nothing on his bench.
How does this? Is this what you leave on your bench basically?
So this would be your optimal lineup.
My bench is injured.
Exactly. That's my point. So if you have a player that scored more than a starter player who you could have played instead of him, if that makes sense, which in a Superflex format is very easy to do, you get a coach score of the differential. Dream Team's doing pretty well as well as a Space Jamal, but again, there hasn't been much to speak of on the bench for them. Same for Mike. Chris is doing a pretty good job, as is Ben. But then we get to the bottom half here. Some, as we like to say, some of a team's poor play is self-inflicted, which you can certainly see with Tom's Tyrants. Perhaps should be better than 2-2 with the amount of points they've left on the bench. Same for Ollie Gardner, 100 points for him. Maybe even the same for Ollie as well, and me. You're doing okay, Pat.
Yeah, most of my bench is injured now, so it's all good.
And then we get the true rankings, which is the overall picture. My dad is top in that, despite not leading a division. I think he might even be the 4th seed. Tuckfard's is second, which you would expect. Chris is tied second, actually. He is leading his division. The 3 division leaders out next to that, with Iksan running up 4th. Space Jamal is still 5th, though you can't help but feel that is mainly driven by random things such as the coach score. And, the records are all still pretty close. And then we get down the bottom there. Yeah, we're probably where we should be there, Pat, with Tom as well, and Ollie and Mike. So everything is as it should be at the moment, I think it's fair to say.
We've learnt our place.
We have learnt our place. So we'll just get to the week previews then. if that's okay with you good folks.
Yes.
And we need to do, what we need to do, Pat, is we need to pick a marquee matchup. So we have Gridiron Gang against Bare Necessities, which is not only the Subs Bowl, but also the Tottenham Bowl. This week.
I think that's the first one that drew my eye.
The Dream Team against Pakistan, Bucking the Trend against the Tuckfarts, Ixan against Tom's Tyrants, which is it's not a rematch of... No, I'll shut up. Bedednez against the Stone Rosas, and Fortiflies against Space Jamal.
The one that just jumped out to me is...
Yeah, there's nothing else of great note. It's another divisional week, worth noting, but yes, the marquee matchup this week, made for a third week in a row. I get this based on history, not performance. Gridiron Gang against Bare Necessities. Not quite Monday night yet. Gridiron Gang take on Bare Necessities in a Stubbs Bowl, and this one's special because it is also their first ever Tottenham Bowl. Entering this game, these two teams are on opposite ends of the spectrum, with Gridiron Gang at 1-3 and Bare Necessities at 3-1. Projections have this going to Bare Necessities 94-81. Looking down the lineups, Tom Brady comes back in for Gridiron Gang. Devontae Freeman and James White currently starting as well. So Gridiron Gang are going with 20 personnel this week, 2 running backs, 3 receivers. On Bare Necessity's side of the ball, I don't think they are changed by the looks of things, so they are still rolling out the 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers. The history of this matchup, Gridiron Gang are 6-11 all time against Bare Necessities. And we'll just round out with the injury news as well. So, limited participation for Hopkins. It's just a rib thing. He's dealing with it. Edelman played last week with his chest injury. He'll keep going. Smith-Schuster did not practice with a toe injury as far as I know at the moment. That was probably just a rest day. I don't think... Oh, Singletary as well. He's practicing again. Missed last week with the hamstring, but I would imagine he plays this week. Pat?
Yes. I was looking at what you're up against this week. I love it, but just looking at how strong Dave's team is,
it's a good team.
It's a good team because, for example, I reckon with Tom Brady against Washington, I think he's going to put up some good points to that. Devonta Freeman, I don't think he'll do too well against Houston.
So I have a stat.
Do you have a stat for me? Ooh,
so Houston are one of the most susceptible teams to pass catching running backs. Of which Freeman has been quite adept at so far. If we pop open Freeman's score, it should tell us. Yep, receiving yards, you can see that. He's 72 last week, 42 the week before. By hook or by crook, he gets yardage. He has done the last 3 games. Just no touchdowns yet.
Yeah, so, okay, I take that back. Well done, fair enough.
Not a great option. I'll give you that.
I think Hopkins against Atlanta, I think their secondary's not looked too good this year.
Look, if this isn't a blow-up game for Hopkins, I need to
He's on the trade block.
Seriously consider my fantasy career.
You got Brandon Cooks. Well, Seattle's defense doesn't look very good either, which is surprising from the beginning of the year.
Like you say,
it's the Rams lottery.
It's Rams receiver lottery. He could do well.
Valdez Scantling be good play. Just Dallas's defense is
good
against a wide receiver.
It is a good defense.
But he will be the number 1 for Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know what that means, but maybe it'll be good.
Hopefully.
I don't know. Hopefully. And then on the other side of the ball, Deshaun Watson hopefully will do a lot better against Atlanta. You're hoping for it as well anyway.
You got to think he's going to... Yeah, this is the... You hate it when your opponent either has a top receiver for a team or is the quarterback for your receiver.
As long as he throws all the touchdowns to DeAndre Hopkins, it's all good. It's all good.
Win.
Yeah. Allen Robinson against Oakland, good matchup.
Nick Chubb
against San Fran. San Fran being quite...
Pretty good defense.
Pretty good defense. I don't know. It's whether or not they get the ball rolling, Cleveland. It's whether or not they keep on getting stuffed at the line. It's because they know that Nick Chubb is sort of their focal point of their offense. Is it that they just sort of like block the box, or I don't know?
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Yeah,
Browns have only had 1 good week as well. That's worth knowing.
Yeah,
other than the Jets.
Travis Kelce against Indy should be good, seeing how bad Indy's defense was last week.
Darius Leonard wasn't there. Although Waller didn't really take advantage of it.
Lockett against LA. Well, James Winston just tore them apart. So you never know. He might do well against them. Julian Edelman against Washington. Yeah, it's good.
It is good, but
good.
They're going to manage him with his injury.
Yeah.
It profiles to be a game they're going to lead as well, so they're probably not going to lead on him too much.
I'm going to go for my gut, which is I think it's going to be you. I know it's matching 81 to 90. I see that with the bare necessities have obviously got the points advantage at the moment on the predictions, but I just think you got they're both good matchups. I don't know, just something feels like it's your week where the team comes together.
I hope so, Pat. Looking at my bench as well, just for again a peek behind the veil of Gridiron Gang. So currently I have James White in there.
I didn't see that. I completely
I'm saying that might change for I don't know. Maybe I'll crawl back to Smith-Schuster.
Depending how he
Samuels, if Connor doesn't play, I'd probably play him.
Apparently he's out. He always looks a bit banged up at the moment, doesn't he, Connor?
Yeah, he had a knee injury and then an ankle. And maybe even Philip Lindsay. Look, Philip Lindsay hasn't been terrific so far, but he's solidly getting some yardage. He had that one blow-up game. But White's been pretty solid too. He obviously missed week 3 because his wife was having a baby. He's not had amazing points, but 9 points isn't going to kill you, which is what he basically had the first 2 weeks. But I agree, it's a tricky one to call. I am actually leaning my team as well, more out of desperation than anything else.
You just got to believe.
But we saw last week there are holes in Ben Necessity's team, despite them being quite consistent.
Yeah, I think it will be a close one.
I think it'll be a close one. I hope it's a close one too. It's always a tough one for me to lose.
I just can't look your dad in the eye
especially when
anymore.
we're going to be at Tottenham, and the game is at 6 o'clock. So Red Zone's
really long. Was it
drive home?
Just him sitting there chuckling to himself.
But look, I think it's got to be a blow-up game for Hopkins. Yes, Watson's going to be feeding him, but like you said, Pat, as well.
Yeah.
Hopkins should end up a bit better. Brady's playing Washington. I think there's got to be some good going for my team in there somewhere. There's enough good things. Meanwhile, on Ben Necessities, like you said, there's a bit of doubt there. I think it's fair to say. So we'll both pick my team then for this one.
Sorry, Dave.
Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Dad. Yes,
you'll
probably win anyway. So what does it matter? Yeah. Next game then, the Dream Team take on Pakistan. The Dream Team take on Pakistan in the Southampton division, and it's a battle to keep their season alive. Both of these teams are 1-3, a lot at stake. The projections currently have this 93 to 78 in favour of the Dream Team. Looking down the lineups, the Dream Team have Frank Gore come into the lineup in favour of Kerryon Johnson, I think. And other than that, I believe they are unchanged. They are going with 31 personnel this week. 3 running backs, 1 tight end and 1 receiver. On Pat's side of the ball, Jacoby Brissett comes into the starting lineup for who was your quarterback last week, Pat?
Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett does not come into the lineup for anyone. He was already there.
Lev Bell's come in.
Lev Bell was come in as he was on the
Allison's come in.
And Geronimo Allison. Jordan Howard's come in as well.
Yeah.
It's a new team for you, essentially, Pat.
Yeah.
You were going with 20 personnel this week. 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers. The history of this matchup, the Dream Team are 4-1 all time against you, Pat. Injury news, Stephon Diggs did not practice, but I would imagine he'll play. It's nothing serious as far as I know. Curtis Samuel, nothing serious for him too. Yeah, probably a rest day.
Look at this. Look at this.
The injury report. Vance McDonald, I don't think he played last week with his shoulder injury. Pakistan, Deshaun Jackson still not back from his hamstring.
Stomach.
Yes.
Abdominal tear or something.
Probably.
But they're not saying how long it's going to be.
Yeah, helpful. Always helpful. I don't think he'll be back. Adams did not practice. Supposedly turf toe. That's a killer for receivers. I don't think they'll play this week.
Self-diagnosed and they said it wasn't too bad, but
okay.
I just got to believe now. Don't take this away from me.
Tyreek Hill, he's still at least a week or 2 away from playing, I'd say, with his broken collarbone. Gallup could play this week. could play, coming back from his meniscus injury.
Green Bay.
And Terry McLaurin should come back from his hamstring injury.
That's good. So, that's a good bench.
That was quite the intro for you there, folks.
Yeah.
Pat, preview the game.
Viv wins next. I
don't think it's as bad as you're making it.
It's terrible. Oh,
it's not ideal. It's not.
I've got the Titans defense.
Look, right, I'm going to give you some hope here. Brissett is going to be playing catch up. He's been solid. If Hilton is back, he should have a good day. Bell, supposedly Darnold could play this week. Still don't see it. Even if he doesn't, the offense is going to go through Bell. Eagles isn't the best defense. Howard, risky, yes. Allison as well. To be fair, with Adams out, he'll be solid enough. Samuel's tricky, and Hardman we don't know. But I love the Titans D.
You're not really putting a lot of confidence in.
You stole the Titans D from me. You stole the Titans D from me because you bid 4 and I bid 3, and I was upset. Especially if Josh Allen doesn't play, they're going to blow up. On the other side of the ball, Wentz against the Jets, it's still a pretty good defense, but it's Carson Wentz. We'll see. Gore ain't going to do anything against that Tennessee offense, especially if Singletary's back, unless he pokes a touchdown over, which he could.
Yeah.
Mixon.
It's Arizona.
He's not been great.
It's Arizona.
The Bengals O-line suck as well, Pat. I'm giving you hope here.
Yeah,
I don't think he blows up.
Arizona.
I don't think he blows up.
Ertz
hasn't been a terrific option so far. We know Diggs can just disappear. Elliott's not set the world alight as well. And Green Bay is a pretty good defense. I'm picking you, Pat.
No, I'm picking Viv. I can't in any decent mind say I'm going to win. I was crying when I was setting my lineup. I was like, why is there just no decent players on my team? I'm always on the waivers. I just can't find anyone.
I felt the same way setting my lineup. No, Pat, I give you an 80% chance this week to win. That is how confident I am in your team. You've got enough there to like.
Agree to disagree.
Okay. Especially if Jalen Ramsey doesn't play, then Samuel's outlook gets
yeah, I think I'm just a bit discouraged by last week. Sort of.
But
everyone...
You know what, I was the same. I had so much optimism after my first win. I felt good about my team. What a difference a week makes in the LOC is all I can say. Next game, bucking the trend against the Tuck Farts. Oh no, it's the same jingle.
I don't think you've ever met anyone so depressing about their own team. Everyone's like, oh, it's right.
Bucking the Trend takes on the Tuck Fards in a key Southampton division matchup. With a win, Bucking the Trend could tie the Tuck Fards for wins, which we wouldn't have thought we would have been saying a week ago. Projections in this one currently have the Tuck Fards winning 90-83. Looking down the lineups, Bucking the Trend bring Melvin Gordon into the lineup for the first time this season. Bet they're glad he's back. They are benching Randall Cobb. Maybe?
No, I don't think they had Randall Cobb last week.
Delaney Walker, Peyton Barber, someone. They also benched Daniel Jones for Baker Mayfield. Other than that, I don't think they're changed at the moment. Maybe Philip Dorsett's coming too. So they are going 20 personnel as well. It's a common personnel group this week. 2 running backs, 3 receivers. Tuck Fards, they have brought Jarvis Landry, word jumble, in for the injured John Ross. He is now on IR. Other than that, they have not changed. So Tuck Fards are going with 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 receivers. Sorry. No history in this matchup, of course. Injury news, as I said, John Ross is now on IR with the shoulder injury. Fitzgerald's just getting a rest day. AJ Green's still not back. Delaney Walker just needs a rest day. Gabriel probably... Actually, he was injured. One to keep an eye on that. Barkley's resumed jogging but will not play this weekend.
How do you do this every week now?
I
would lose my voice.
Well, I'm hoping to be an anchor somewhere at some point. Can I replace Neil Reynolds, please?
He's like the furniture now, isn't he? They can't get rid of him.
It's true.
He probably lives in that studio.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's look at Mike's team first. Baker Mayfield against San Francisco.
I feel for Mike. He's stuck. He's in a hard place.
I just saw that Daniel Jones against Minnesota, and I wouldn't want to play that either. Would you consider dropping a player to get another quarterback for this week, especially how it's a divisional matchup?
Would
you consider?
I would consider. I'm just not sure who Mike would drop. Yeah, you can bring that up. We can look on here as well.
Yeah, well,
the problem is with Mike's team, up to last week, we know it wasn't great, but he's made a few additions and things. I'm not sure there's anyone there who he would be wanting to drop. Maybe DK Metcalf. He showed last week he's not a reliable option. And I've got to imagine that, there's at least a better option on his bench there.
So you got Garoppolo playing Cleveland, Goff versus Seattle.
Yeah, I'd play Goff, I think.
Well, he's got to wait till I think it's like Friday.
He can't.
No,
he's on waivers till next week.
Andy Dalton versus Arizona. That would be a hero play.
He's had some good games. It was a absolute poor showing last week. But up till that,
Kirk Cousins against New York Giants.
Yeah, you really want to trust Kirk Cousins? I'd probably go Andy Dalton over Mayfield and Jones.
Or would you go Minshew?
No.
It's Carolina.
No.
Oh, I just did that for Phil. I know Phil would like that.
Ben was absolutely heroic in his play against me.
You can't pick up Goff, can you?
No, you can't. I would go with Dalton, but he's got Mayfield in there at the moment, so
if you're listening, Mike, we're just going to see Dalton just go off.
Yeah. He does watch or listen to the podcast.
Yeah, just whether or not he's listening to it now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's what I'd go for. It's just
the problem with Mike's team, you start off great with, the quarterback situation is what it is. Gordon and Kamara, amazing.
Yeah.
Then you look at the receivers and you're like, holy hell.
Well, we've got the Minnesota lottery. Dorsett against Washington, that could be...
He needs a touchdown to have a good day.
Yeah, he's very touchdown dependent. And then Metcalf. Who would he play instead of Metcalf?
Could have been... So it would either be Cobb again, Delaney Walker, or Barber.
Who would you play in that situation?
Walker's not been great. I think I'd go Barber.
Yeah. What did Barber do last week? I didn't... it's alright, yeah. Yeah, that's... But he's fine. But Mike's finding his feet.
I think
he's doing better than me, so I can't really say much.
I think the fact we're speaking so much about Mike's team shows us how confident we are that Phil's going to bounce back and win this. Do you agree? The absence of discussion. But Phil had a bad week last week, which we know, but...
Yeah, but like I said, a lot of he had quite bad matchups. Yeah. And it was a weird week. I can't see Phil losing.
When you've got Mahomes, it's just...
Ingram's against Pittsburgh. They haven't been very good against... How have they been against the run?
The defense has been pretty good.
Okay, fair enough. I just need to sharp a lot of time.
Allen's going to be shadowed, probably, so it's not the best, but still...
Fitzgerald against Cincinnati.
That's pretty good.
That's alright, yeah.
Landry against San Fran, not sure
but I'm not...
Landry is the new John Ross for Phil. But he hasn't got a lot of options. He's
brought Golden Tate off the suspended bench now as well.
That's some news. I missed that news. There you go.
Oh, come on, Nathan.
Sorry. I think, it's not all roses for Phil at the moment, but he's got enough to, I think, get past Mike. So another win for Phil there. Next game then is Ixan against Tom's Tyrants.
Is it really bad that I sort of just aiming for the wildcard spot? Because I know I can't catch.
No shame in it.
I can't catch me.
Ixan take on Tom's Tyrants in the Portsmouth Division battle. Tom's Tyrants will need to win this one if they want to keep up with Ixan at 3-1. Meanwhile, Ixan will be looking to put some space between them. Projections currently have this going to Ixan 98-65. Though Tom has famously not been changing his team for the podcast, which isn't helpful. Looking down the lineups, Ixan, George Kittle comes into the lineup for Marvin Jones. Other than that, I don't think they've changed. So he's going with 31 personnel, 3 running backs, a tight end, and a receiver. Yes, Pat?
Yeah, no, that's it, yeah.
Tom, on Tom's side of the ball, once again, he has dropped his quarterback. Will this be the week Kyler Murray comes in? He's the only...
Jameis Winston.
Oh, for God's sake. I can't blame him. Although, as we already said, that's not the best. Anyway, so Jameis Winston will be the quarterback for this team. So his projection will go up by 27. He's still projected to lose. Other changes, nothing as yet. So Tom is remaining with his 10 personnel, 1 running back, 4 receiver spread offense. History of this matchup, Ixan are 7-7 all time against Tom's Tyrants. Injury news, Connor picked up the ankle injury. Yet to be determined if he'll play this weekend. He has not practiced yet. Breeze still not playing after his hand injury. Gordon limited, but he'll be fine. Godwin did not practice, but I think he'll be fine too. Oh, I timed it perfectly. Don't you love to see it?
Yeah. So, awkward silence.
Pondering thoughts.
Looking at this, I am probably going to favour... I don't know. It's very close. It's very close for me. But I would probably say Ben for this one. Well, I like the Todd Gurley play against Seattle. Well, you can put him in no matter what anyway. Dalvin Cook against New York Giants, that's going to be a brilliant game. Tyler Boyd. Wide receivers haven't done very well against Arizona. I've found out they people normally go ahead and just run the ball all game.
I can't see that happening here.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to. George Kittle against Cleveland. George Kittle's been a bit sort of quiet this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's not been the same. Like it's part of having a more competent quarterback, but at the same time, that offense not exactly firing on all cylinders, and them just being more run heavy in general.
Derrick Henry against Buffalo, that's going to be hard.
It is, but they're at home,
an uphill battle.
And the Titans like to run.
And who do you reckon, on the other side of the board, who do you reckon Tom's going to go for? Is he going to go for Kyler Murray, or is he going to go Jameis Winston? Has he picked up Jameis Winston to see if it's a fluke or not?
He spent some money on Jameis.
How much money was it?
I think it was $9.
Oh, that's not much, that's nothing. That's chump change.
It's not nothing.
Chump change.
It's not nothing.
That's chump change.
It's some money.
It's nothing.
It's more than a Freddo.
Not by much.
I would like to see him go with Murray, personally. It would not surprise me to go Winston. Winston could have a good day, I could be wrong, but I just don't like it in the Superdome.
Yeah, maybe he's just picking him up for, I don't know. Yep.
Look, we're dancing around it here. I don't know who else, maybe he brings, I imagine he'll bring in Jeffrey for someone, whether that's Connor if he doesn't play, or even Eckler now that Gordon's back. Wouldn't surprise me to see Josh Gordon come in for someone like DJ Chark too.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette,
I would
probably going to come back in for DeMarcus Robinson.
Who's Leonard Fournette playing?
Carolina. Again, it's not the best, but the volume he's getting. And even Chris Godwin. You could start Tom's bench. Tom has such a weird team, and they're both good and not great at the same time. Excuse me, listeners. I think, in fact, 4 players on his bench could feasibly come in. Jeffrey, Gordon, Fournette, and Godwin could all come in for Connor, Robinson, Chark, and Eckler.
Yeah. I'm going to give my vote to Ben this week. I think
so too.
Yeah, I think that sort of that running back combo of Gurley and Cook on good matchups, it's just going to tear it apart.
He's got a few other good matchups there too.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Cook put up like 30 points this week.
Yeah, if Tom puts those players I mentioned in, I think he's definitely got a great shot.
Oh yeah,
essentially winning.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
No.
Yeah, I just imagine Ben just beating him to the post.
I think... Actually, no. I'm going to put a limb out there because Phillip Rivers is playing Denver, which isn't necessarily the runaway game.
Else on his bench quarterback-wise?
No. I need Drew Brees.
Okay.
I'm going to go Tom if he puts those players in. That's the caveat.
If he does what I said...
Basically.
Tom.
Yeah, basically. So we are split on that one.
Tom's just rewinding the video, just trying to find what it was.
Penultimate game, Bedetonators. Oh no, I need my jingles. Bedetonators against the Stone Rose Asset is the Ollie Bowl. The two Ollies battle it out to keep up in the Southampton division. Stone Rosas is 2-2 and the Detonators are 1-3. Projections have it that the Stone Rosas will win this one 96-86. Looking down the lineups for the Detonators, Will Fuller comes back into the lineup, but this might be the game he goes off in favour of, I don't know, Sterling Shepard maybe. And Mike Nugent is not on a bye because he is the new kicker for the New England Patriots on the Stone Roses side of the ball. Wayne Gorman comes into the lineup against that tough Minnesota offense. I'm not a fan of that. For Odell Beckham, he's riding the bench right now. These teams are fielding a 20 personnel for the Detonators and a 30 personnel for the Stone Roses. Pat, preview the game while I go and answer the door.
Oh, it's the Pat show now. Oh. So, I like Lamar Jackson against Pittsburgh. I think that's going to be a right blowout game. David Johnson against Cincinnati is going to be brilliant. It's going to be very competitive with Cincinnati not really moving the ball as much. Aaron Jones against Dallas. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of that. Will Fuller against Atlanta. I'm not. Well, Will Fuller hasn't been putting up many points the last few weeks. And Sammy Watkins against Indianapolis. It's whether or not Sammy Watkins can get the yards. It's sort of like another lottery in a way with sort of Hardman and Robinson. On the other side of the ball, Russell Wilson against LA. Well, we saw James Winston sort of torch the LA defense. Whether or not he'll be able to do it this week is a question, and depends if they're just going to run the ball. I don't know. I think LA will move the ball quite a bit. Shady against Indianapolis. I think that's good. I think Indianapolis didn't look very good last week. It just depends if they return to form or not.
Yeah.
Wayne Goldman, like you just said, Wayne Goldman gets Minnesota. Just no.
I think he needs to put.
But
either Duke Johnson.
He took Odell Beckham out, and I get that because San Fran's been very good, and Odell Beckham's not really done anything.
He's almost like Hopkins. You've just got to keep playing him, and the points will come.
Who's that? Is that David Johnson against
Duke Johnson?
Duke Johnson.
But that could be good as well against Orlando. Evan Ingram against Minnesota is even a better option than Gorman against Minnesota.
Julio against Houston, that could be all right. Cooper Kupp against Seattle, that's a good matchup.
Vikings against Giants.
Can you click on David Montgomery? I don't know actually how.
He's had some decent games.
Well, he started off a bit slow, didn't he? And
decent.
It's decent. Yeah. And
decent.
Against Oakland, it's a very, very juicy matchup. I am sort of. I'm tending towards Ollie Gardner.
Yep.
For this one, I'm not a big fan of the Will Fuller play.
No.
No, he hasn't really done. Has he?
No, but Atlanta may as well not be there on defense.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like throwing to air.
Yeah. And Aaron Jones against Dallas, I don't think Green Bay are going to be moving the ball as much. And I think Dallas will probably take the lead in that one. And
Pittsburgh
they'll be playing catch-up all game.
Shut down Marquise Brown. Watkins, we've seen, is inconsistent.
Yeah, well, I just said it was like the lottery again.
Yeah.
You don't know who it's going to be.
No.
Is it going to be Hardman? Is it going to be Robinson?
Yeah, I think we're both aligned on Stone Rose as to win this one. History of this game, I did not do because I had to obviously answer the door. Ollie Gardner is 3-1 all time against Ollie. But
the show really took a nosedive when you left. I'm so glad you come back.
You know, Pat, it's all about the talent. And our final game, Forge Flyers take on Space Jamal. Space Jamal will be looking to recover from their 2-game losing streak as they face a team on a 2-game winning streak, Forge Flyers, who are currently predicted to extend that to 3 with 97 to 87 points. Looking down the lineup, on Chris's side of the ball, T.Y. Hilton has provisionally come back into the lineup for Darren Waller, and Damian Williams has provisionally come back, or is that Darrell Williams? Who knows? Let's click on it and find out. Has come back into the lineup. Damian Williams has come into the lineup for Will Disley. Forge Flyers are running a 30 personnel this week. On Space Jamal's side of the ball, not changed as yet, I believe. No changes?
No, I don't think there is.
No changes. So they are still fielding a 10 personnel, 1 running back, 4 wide receivers. The history of this game, Forge Flyers. Where is it? 5-2 all time against Ross's team. I'll do the injury news when this finishes. That'll be annoying otherwise. There we go. Fine. Christian McCaffrey did not practice. That's just a rest day. Don't worry. Marlon Mack, do worry. He might not play this weekend. T.Y. Hilton, also worry. Feeling better. But I would still class him as true game time decision with that quad injury. Damian Williams, if he's a full participant, he'll be back from his injury this week. Carlos Hyde is fine as well. Ross, your players, Josh Jacobs will be fine. Amari Cooper, he's got that heel thing, plantar fasciitis still. He'll be fine. And Sanders, probably just recovery from that Achilles injury as well. He'll be okay. Michael Badgley not playing because that groin injury.
Yeah.
Here you go, Pat. Take it away.
Yeah, we already know what we're going to say for this week, I think. Do you?
Do we?
Yeah. Right. I'm liking Chris's team this week. I think. Do you reckon Dak Prescott will have his bounce back game this week, or do you reckon he'll have it in his next game against the Green Bay?
I think it will be it's tricky because Green Bay's defense did look good, but they didn't necessarily play good teams in the first 3 weeks. And then, obviously Philadelphia came in and smacked them around a bit. But we have to remember it was a Thursday night game.
Yeah, it's true.
Prescott just laid an absolute stinker against the Saints. Yep, they're playing at home. I think it will be somewhere between the two. He'll probably have a decent day. Wouldn't surprise me if it's not a great day.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey's going to do well against Jacksonville, being the focal point of the offense at the moment.
Yep.
Marlon Mack, if he plays, be good. But
just before you continue,
to play?
I don't think I would be surprised. I don't think he'll play this week, which is a shame because it's a good matchup. Ankle injury. He's been dealing with something for the last couple of weeks. For McCaffrey, I think the Jags D very likely will just take McCaffrey away and force Kyle Allen to try and beat them.
I like that.
You can't completely take a player like McCaffrey away, but
no,
it wouldn't be surprise me if
I think there's too many options on that offense for them to do that. I think with Greg Olsen, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, I don't think
my point is Kyle Allen is an undrafted quarterback who did not do well against Houston last week. Jags D is better than Houston's D.
Yeah.
You take away McCaffrey and you make that quarterback
Does Ramsey play this week, do you reckon?
I don't know.
Isn't he trying to get traded at the moment?
Yeah, but that's not the reason he's not playing. He's had a few things.
You never know. Mike Evans against New Orleans. Oh, yeah, sorry, Mr. T.Y. Hilton against... He's back this week, isn't he?
Game time, I would say.
Game time. Oh, that's another... It's a juicy matchup if he plays. I want him to play. Mike Evans against New Orleans. It really depends on Winston. It really depends if he shows up or not. We hope he does. Well, I hope he does anyway. Then you got Damian Williams against India. That's another good matchup.
Does he walk back to his role?
Well, Shady doing so well, I don't think he does.
Is he fully healthy? He's full participant, but is he fully healthy? Is he fully back from that injury? The reason when you said I think we're fully agreed here, I'm not. I'm very uncertain about Chris's team.
I quite like it.
There are 3 injured players.
Yeah, it's true.
3 injured players that might... Okay, Williams is going to play. 2 of the 3 might not play. McCaffrey, I could see getting taken away. Prescott, is he going to be good?
What's his bench like, very quickly? We have... Well, does he... it's nothing.
Nothing that excites you. Hyde could be okay.
And I know Chris is watching, so that's why I'm picking up his team. Hi, Chris.
Hooper's had a few good games, but I don't know if you'll ever feel comfortable starting him.
No.
And then Darrell Williams, I guess, but you're not going to play both Damien and Darrell.
On the other side of the board, should we look at Russ's team? So he's got Matt Ryan against Houston. That could be...
The Falcons' defense is so bad. Ryan is just passing to keep up.
Michael Thomas against Tampa Bay. That could be... if it gets into a bit of a... They haven't been the same since Drew Brees has gone.
Understandably.
But if they're having to play catch-up... If they're having to play catch-up, if Winston does what he did last week, which I'm not 100% sure, I want him to, but 90% sure he will. Yeah. Josh Jacobs against Chicago,
He's getting erased.
Yeah. Robert Woods against Seattle, that could be good, but that's roulette again. Amari Cooper against Green Bay. Green Bay, it depends what Green Bay shows up.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders against the Chargers. He is their main weapon that they have. Chargers know that.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah.
I still favour. Even if you take Marlon Mack away and T.Y. Hilton, if T.Y. Hilton plays then Marlon Mack goes away, I still like Chris's team over Ross's team.
Yeah.
But it's tough actually.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
What do you reckon?
I'm gonna go Ross's team.
Oh, I'm gonna go Chris's team.
I picked Chris's team last week. I'm just not feeling it this week, Chris. I hate to say it. It's not that I'm overly in love with Ross's team. It's just the Josh Jacobs against Chicago and the American. It's just bad. I don't think they're bad players. I think it's just bad matchups for Ross this week. I agree.
And I think the only problem with Chris's team is injury, and if they're not injured, I think he'll dominate. If they play, he'll dominate, I reckon.
Well, that's your podcast. All the games preview.
What a fucking train wreck.
You did well.
Can we swear? Can we swear?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's fine. I don't really.
Thank fuck for that.
Well, we hope you have enjoyed the show, dear viewers, and we'll be back at some point next week to review the games. Hopefully, Chris might be back by then, so we'll have the co-host. But I've enjoyed having you on today, pal.
Yeah, you just say that to my face. Yeah, that's fine.
We were steaming along. This was going to be the shortest podcast ever, and then it wasn't. But that's okay. We like a good in-depth show. Yeah. So thank you for watching. We'll wish you good luck in your matchups this weekend, unless you're playing me, of course. I'll be at the NFL game. Pat will presumably be watching somewhere.
I'll just be on my bed, just watching TVs.
Pat's watching Pornhub, everyone. You heard it here first. Have a good weekend and goodbye.
So what's new?